Hello, I've just finished another junk journal. Approached this one a little differently. This is the first time that I started with the cover. I had this pretty fabric and my favorite color is blue, so I just loved this fabric. It has just a little bit of pink and light green in it, and I mounted the fabric onto a blue shade of cardstock and then mounted that onto chipboard. And the chipboard I went all the way around the outside edges and painted with some gold paint just for some finished touch. And on this image, this was a printed image, and I just love that. I love the colors, I love those flowers, and I did some machine stitching in blue on mounted it on blue cardstock and then craft cardstock and trimmed the edge in that same gold paint. So there's a lot of layering and effect goes on there, and then added this little piece of lace and a pop-up dimensional butterfly, added this lace trim and just hit it here and there with a light touch of glitter. And on the side I've got a beaded charm, an old key, and a lot of these sari silk and ribbon and eyelash trim onto, we used the Zutter Bind It All to bind the journal together. And this is the back. The same fabric, a little bit of that cardstock showing through and the gold edges. And if we go inside, on the inside chipboard cover, I decoupaged some napkins. This page stitched on some real pretty trim that has some beads and sequins on it. Stitched a pocket, and this is an antique postcard. A little bit of writing on the back. No date. This is from Clarington, Ohio. 1918. It does have a date on it, 1918. And this was written by someone that lives here in Ohio, where I'm from. And one of my photos from the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta. Some textured paper. Some more paper with a little bit of sparkle to it. Stitched a pocket here. This tag, machine stitched, some sari silk coffee dye paper on the back. This was, my mother loved, I can't remember the name, the watches, pendant watches that hang around your neck. And this was one of her watches, and I laid it out with some old photographs and took a snapshot and printed that out on paper. I thought that made a pretty page. Layered some cardstock and some ribbon, a silk flower. You could tuck something here. Some pretty trim on the inside edge. This flips out with dragonflies stamped. This paper is gorgeous. It has just a little bit of glitter on it, a little bit of embossing. Plenty of space for journaling in this, and lots of pockets and places to put your paper, ephemera, and some photographs. Another pocket here. This is printed from a magazine. The back side of a book page. Angel, machine stitching on the way around. A little bit of stamping on this edge. Some machine stitching. I stitched this pocket and I layered some paper here. And this pretty lady, a journaling card. Space for journaling and the word gratitude. Layered some paper to match the colors in these birds of the flowers. Some machine stitching along the edge, some eyelash trim, and this pretty lady. And this is a vintage photograph item. I can't remember the exact name of the type of photography, but 2 images were made and inserted into a machine for viewing. And I found a handful of these at a secondhand store, and I liked the colors and the theme. It's trying to get a little child to go to bed, and I thought that was a cute thing to include in the journal. And this is one of my photos a couple years ago. I had a bird. Spent a couple days here trying to get in the front door, and it was a great photo opportunity for me, and I like to include that in my journals when I can. So I stitched a pocket out of that and inserted this tag. I've layered some cardstock and some scrapbooking paper, added a vellum wording here that says the best of everything, a little bit of lace stitched on, a printed image, layered up some crochet and some sari silk and plenty of space to write on the back. And this little item here tucks right out and unfolds. Space for writing. You could tuck something into this. Love this. Found this at a secondhand store and hate to let it go, but I thought it belonged in this journal with all the rest of the blues. And this is some layered paper, a punched butterfly. This page folds out, kind of keeps on going. Some punched flowers added for accent. And I love this page. I had seen this done on a YouTube video with fabrics, and I decided to try some paper, just randomly cut out some various squares and rectangles and some paper scraps, a little bit of that fabric from the front cover, and machine stitched that down there, and it hangs over the side. I really like that effect. And this is an envelope, and I found this at a secondhand store as well. It's an old handkerchief with beautiful light green and peach and blue trim on it, and I thought it went with the colors in this journal, so I tucked it into that envelope. This is from some sketches I did about a year ago, and I threw the sketch pad on the copier and decided to use some of that in the journals. And in this pocket, I love this image. I don't know where I got that, somewhere on Pinterest, I guess. And I layered some craft colored cardstock and blue machine thread and stitched that on coffee dyed paper. So there's plenty of space to journal here. And tucked inside one of my photos, I believe that's a female purple finch. It was on my front feeder. Little layering here and here. A ticket that says enjoy every tiny little second, layered with some fabric from the front and some lace. And this pocket is holding some scraps of coffee dyed paper. A lot of texture there, and this is printed on vellum and machine stitched at the top, and a coloring page. Some beautiful paper here. A recycled greeting card. This is the other side of the card, and I've added this cutout here. And here I've layered some paper, machine stitched, and this image, and this little design element at the bottom. All the flowers of all the tomorrows are in the seeds of today, an Indian proverb. This page is from a calendar, a 2018 calendar, and it had pockets on the calendar pages. So the pocket was already on there, and this is a recycled greeting card with some lace and sari silk added, and some pretty green paper that matches the greens in the calendar. And this page, a lot going on here. I machine stitched this envelope here and here, covered it in various shades of blues paper. We've got 2 pockets going on here, and this is to hold the pocket in place. A photo of a butterfly. It's a photo that I took. And inside, another photo that I took when we were at Cades Cove in Tennessee. I love this page. It has a paper clip with that pretty bead on it. I made this envelope, stitched on some papers. And this is a recycled greeting card, and I just love the colors and the theme. There's a girl, reminds me of Anne of Green Gables, out on a fine summer day. Coffee dyed paper. A page from a book about flowers. I just fussy cut the edge a little bit for some accent. I cut a scalloped design around these petals on this paper. Thought that made a neat effect on here. Machine stitched in brown around the edges. More coffee dyed paper. This page is actually, the base of it is some wallpaper. And I've added a page from a book about birds. A piece of trim that's stitched on. This flips up. You can journal here and on here. There's that wallpaper. It's been coffee dyed. This is a collage that I did last year. There's some tissue paper, some scrapbooking paper, book page, a little bit of everything on that. I scanned it and I'm using that for printed paper. Some more coffee dyed paper, and this page has been coffee dyed. A remnant piece of an old handkerchief with some beautiful pink crochet trim, some washi tapes, or washi tape down the side, and that pretty rose picture. The word authentic. This page has some eyelash trim added to the top, and you can tuck something in here. Another one of my butterfly photos. This little pocket has a little pop-up item that says hopes and dreams. And this page, you can tuck something in there. Another recycled greeting card. Again, I love the scene on this. The geese, daffodils, one of my favorite flowers. Made a pocket here. Layered some paper and a word that says encourage. And in this pocket, this pretty tag. There's just a little bit of silver reflective characteristic to the flowers here, and I punched this shape and stamped on the word hope happens and added just a little bit of glitter accent around the edges. Some stamping, collect moments, not things, and this pretty scrapbooking paper is embossed and has a little bit of a shine to it. A sticker and the word butterfly, another machine stitched pocket, and a sticker here. And this is the same image that is on the front cover. I have added coffee dyed paper to the back and some blue stitching, and this cute little owl. There's the back page and a pocket here with some of that trim that's on the front. Recycled greeting card, hummingbird. Stamp, play in the warmth of the sun, dance in the light of the moon. And another recycled greeting card. Lots and lots of space for journaling in this journal. So there you have it. Something a little different. I started from the cover and worked my way inside and to the back. I just love this journal just because it's my favorite color in the world, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching and have a good day. Bye.